Hi everyone. If you have a suggestion for intros I should be doing, please let me know. I would love to try different intros. So if you're watching this, I'm sure this will get like 20 views. If you're watching this, please comment an intro that you like and I'll try it out, unless it's gross, unless it's weird. I'm not showing you my feet. I'm not saying anything sexual. Okay, anyways. So, welcome to my ASMR channel. I did used to actually post pretty regularly during 2020, during the shutdown, so this isn't my first ASMR video, even though I've named it that. I've just named it that because that's a trend, and I literally haven't posted in years, so it feels like my first ASMR video. I just want to give a life update for the couple people who might be wondering where I am. But also I just really love whisper rambles, so if you're someone who enjoys listening to stuff that has nothing at all to do with you, about other people's life, stay tuned, you might love this. So I'm just going to tap on some cardboard while I do that. Some scratches. Scratchy, scratchy, scratches. So, I don't even remember really the last video I posted. I think it must have been when I lived in a high-rise in Houston, Texas. And I lived in a high-rise for 6 years. Actually, if you're ever thinking about moving to Houston, this high-rise is called Mosaic on Herman Park. It is an incredible building. I loved all of the people who worked there. Really good amenities, and like the HOA is like the HOA fees. You're going to be shocked by this, but for a high-rise, this is cheap. $400 a month. I think they did it by size of condo, so like we had a smaller condo, so we paid less condo fees. And I owned my condo. I'm giving you way too much background information. But I owned my condo, and I bought it before things got super expensive, so like the housing market. So I think my mortgage was only $900 and I was paying $400 in HOA fees, so like $1,300 mortgage wasn't that crazy. And I was working as an engineer, and my husband was too, so like we were fine. But anyways, Mosaic on Herman Park is what it's called. There is an apartment building attached to it where you can rent. I don't think I would suggest that place. I would suggest just renting from one of the condos in the condo building where people own them, or buy one. I'm sure they're still relatively cheap compared to the rest of the US, because Houston is just like a cheaper city. Where even was I going with that? So that was probably the last ASMR video I filmed, and then since then I've lived actually somewhere else before this place that I live in now. I lived with some girls in a house also within the loop of like downtown Houston, Texas, and I loved that. I lived there for 2 years. And then I up and quit my job back in February and moved to Canada without a plan. I had saved money from working in like the chemicals industry for 9 years. And I just really needed a break. I was doing jobs that I wasn't meant to be doing for a long time. I think most people can relate to that. That's just like part of life. You have to make money, right? You have to survive. Whenever you get your degree, you have no idea what you should be doing, so you just do whatever you think sounds best at the time. But like, I should not have ever gotten an engineering degree. And then I went and got an MBA, and I got a job that was more like business, finance. I was negotiating contracts. It was very stressful, but still so much better than being an engineer for me, because I'm not like, I don't think I'm meant to be super technical. It's kind of like a FaceTime, hey? And also I just said hey, like it's so Canadian. I wasn't meant to be like super technical, so I got an MBA because of that, because I was like, I don't want to be stuck in this like engineering jobs for forever. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that and like getting a job that wasn't as bad. And like I probably could have done it for a long time, but I was so tired. And every day, I know you can probably relate to this. Most people can. Every day I was like, what am I doing? I'm literally spending so much time driving to work, working in an office, and then coming home every day to the same place. Like I'm not living my life. I'm not really living. And I did that for all of my 20s. I was responsible. Oh my gosh, I got a burp. I was responsible right from the beginning. I got married right away. That's because I'm from the South, but if you're not from the US, that's something people do in Texas. I got married right away. I immediately got an engineering job. I worked really hard. I saved a ton of money. For what? I should have partied more in my 20s. I should have figured out what I wanted to do. I should have... It doesn't matter now. No one really knows what they want. So, anyways, I'm on a break. I'm on a break from corporate America. I moved to Canada. I was just going to take a year off, but I was like, I don't want to just do nothing. So I went and worked at a winery over the summer, and now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. Because the winery was kind of seasonal, and I kind of want to go back there next summer because I am obsessed with it. It's mostly like retired people that work there, and so it's like very laid back. It's serving wine, like couldn't be any easier. And in Canada, the minimum wage isn't like crazy low, plus you get tips on top of that. So it's really not a bad gig. I was making enough money that I was paying for this apartment that I'm living in, even though it was just like a serving job, which in the US that is impossible. I'm not buying anything else except the apartment and food, but still. I've just come to realize that I don't need a lot. And the reason why I picked this place in Canada was because I was going to travel around and try a bunch of different places and like maybe live in a bigger city. But I visited my aunt and uncle in the city I'm in right now. The skiing is amazing. I came in February. The skiing is so good. There's like 5 ski hills around, and there's not a lot of people that come to them. So, and it's like the Rocky Mountains, so they're really good ski hills. And then it's absolutely beautiful. If you've ever seen or lived in Houston, Texas, you know there's no nature there. And here is probably the prettiest place I've ever seen. So I just said, F it. I want to stay. I want to stay for a year. So we got an apartment and now we're here. My husband works. I'm a dual citizen. This is why I was able to move here so easily. I've never lived in Canada, but my parents are Canadian. Shall we switch to another box? Next ASMR video, I will try to talk slower. I'm just excited. So my parents are Canadian, and because of that, it's really easy, like super easy to move to Canada. I was able to get a driver's license, a healthcare card. I'm a citizen in both countries, right? But my husband is a US citizen, so he's still working for a US company just remotely. He's trying to get permanent residency here so he can eventually work for a Canadian company. So, yeah, it was just kind of easier than I expected. And I'm so glad I made the jump because I had the best summer ever. Like, maybe my favorite summer of my life, just working in wineries. I worked at 2, actually. Working at 2 different wineries in the most beautiful place I've ever seen, swimming in the lake. kayaking, hiking, and then in the winter, this winter I get to ski. Like, it's just perfect. So I eventually will probably have to get another job, like a full-time job. But I think I'm, for now, just fine doing seasonal work, and I saved up some money to be able to do this, and the exchange rate is good coming to Canada, right? So look at this thing. I don't remember this being a thing in the US, or as they say here, in the States. But maybe it is. I'm not a fast food person typically, but here they have veggie burgers at pretty much every fast food place, so I've been trying them all. And like, I've actually been going to McDonald's because they have a great veggie burger here. But anyways, it's Monopoly, and you get like different places whenever it's like on the package, a sticker that's on the package, and then I put them on the Monopoly board. So like, I have Parliament Hill, Montreal Airport, St. Catherine Street, Robson Street. I'm going to say this wrong. Wapusk National Park. It's probably a native word that I should know. Halifax Airport, Bay of Fundy, Peggy's Cove, Signal Hill. Anyways, so once you get like a set, you get entered into a drawing for like a car and stuff. I'm not expecting to win anything. I just love like making these sets. Like, I'm just missing one of these orange ones. So crinkly. This is probably my dog hitting the door to get into the room because he wants to cuddle. He probably thinks I'm sleeping in here because this is our bedroom. Yo, I kind of love this sound with my fingers being sticky. So anyways, I love Canada. I'm a big Canadian girl now. I'm obsessed. It's just like very laid back here, and it's probably the city I'm living in because it's like a vacation town. But like, Canadians really are as friendly as the stereotype seems. Everyone just wants to chat. And most people in this town are retired, and I kind of love that because I feel retired right now. I do miss working at the winery. I'm hoping I can go back next summer, but I also might get a job before then. There is a job that I applied for and I got, and I have not been feeling well for a month and a half now. I don't really want to talk about that. Thank God for Canadian healthcare, because it would be so expensive to do what I've been doing in the US. All the tests I've been doing, but like, I don't think I'm ready for a full-time job at the moment. But hopefully by the time summer comes around again and I can work at the winery again, hopefully I'm better by then. there are some things I love and miss about Houston, like my friends there. I was somewhat involved in like the music scene. I miss playing drums with people. The weather there is terrible, but honestly I didn't mind the heat that much. I'm not minding the cold that much either. Maybe the weather just doesn't affect me as much as other people. And it's still kind of novel that we actually have seasons here, because in Houston there are no seasons. It's like hot, really cold for maybe like a week, because the polar vortex or whatever reaches Houston. There's like no fall, really. So right now all the trees are changing color. They're like bright red and yellow. They're about to be brown and ugly, but at the moment they're so pretty. And I love the snow. Like, the snow is still pretty novel to me. Hasn't snowed yet, but it will soon, probably in like a month. I get to ski in less than a month. November like 26th or something like that. Just die. Nope, still going. What else has been going on? My husband, he works for a US company, so he's still working, making US money just remotely, but he would like to eventually work for a Canadian company, so he's trying to get his permanent residency, which is a huge pain, even though he's married to a citizen. Like, I'm a full-blown citizen even though I've never lived in Canada because my parents are Canadian. I'm a dual citizen, you know? Even though he's married to a full-blown citizen for 10 years, it's still hard to get citizenship here, so both the US and Canada are hard to immigrate to, even though the news makes it not seem that way, but it is really hard. That's all of the cardboard I have. I was about to say I'm going to go to bed soon. It's only 6:43. The time changed, and it gets dark here at 4 p.m. That's another thing about the difference between living here in Houston. Like, it's so dark in the afternoon. I'm going to have to, I don't know, start doing something. I've joined like a knit club, 2 knit clubs. I'm thinking about joining a running club once I start feeling better. Like, I gotta make sure I'm not just at the house every night because it's dark out. I also just go to my aunt and uncle's and play Scrabble a lot, or like go in their hot tub. But yeah, if you have never visited British Columbia, Canada, or even like the mountainy part of Alberta, Canada, it's breathtaking. I cannot believe I live here. Put it on your bucket list if it's in your means to do so. To just come once in your life. to start posting. I really want to challenge myself to like post every day for a while. ASMR videos. Gotta update this background. And soundproof this room a little bit because the car noises are annoying. I actually really like sleeping to car noises, but I know they can be annoying to other people. Because I'm a big city girl, you know? So it's comforting. I've always found that I'm about to go on a rant. Let me grab it my box again. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that either. And like it seems so loud. Oh, the dog's barking. Okay, I gotta go. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Forget what I was gonna rant about. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll rant more later.